And good morning, everyone. Welcome to our live trading workshop. Always the most exciting webinars that we have to offer. It is February the 27th, 9:30 a.m. The market has just opened up, and we're going to see if we find some interesting day trading opportunities today in the markets. My name is Daniel Sinek, and I'm greeting you from our beautiful headquarters here in Montreal, right in the city center in Canada. And before we get into it, where are you guys calling in from? Who do we have today in the room? So we have Gary. Hey, Gary, how's it going? Gary from Germany, Münsterland. Nice. Who else do we have? Please put your location into the Q&A box. And I can see we do have a very full room today. Ron from Utah. Hey, Ron, how's it going? Joachim from Munich. Joachim from Munich. Hi, Joachim. Udo from Osnabrück. Tough times in Osnabrück, soccer-wise, huh, Udo? I'm suffering with you. I'm from Rostock. Kelly from Barbados. Nice. Probably nice and sunny. Edda from Hamburg. Hey, Edda. Good to see you. William from the Netherlands. Hey, William. Ben from Seattle. Good to see you, Ben. Danica. Hi. Wie geht's? Good to see you near Ramstein. Nice. Yes. Gerd says he's near the border to the Netherlands. Lujo from Virginia, USA. Tim from Phoenix. Hey, Tim, what's going on? Chris from Northern California. And Danica says hi back. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for for sharing your location. As always, a very international crowd. That's always the most fun. Okay, guys, let's get started. Of course, I do need to remind you that trading does contain substantial risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is money that you actually can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trade ideas and strategies discussed in this webinar should not be construed as trade advice. These are for educational purposes only. All right. So with this, a quick introduction of who we are. We are tradingindicators.com. My name is Daniel Sinek here on the left-hand side. And about 10 years ago, we have built up trading indicators from the ground up together with Homa here in the middle. And about 5 years in, Niklas joined our crew. He's in the room here today. Actually, in fact, he's going to do most of the charting today. Hi, Niklas, how's it going? And Niklas has been instrumental behind many of our recent projects, Volume IQ, Liquidity IQ, our Discord channel, and many other things. So over the years, we've built hundreds of trading indicators, most of them rooted and based on what's called technical analysis. And that's exactly what we're going to do today as well. We're going to use our flagship indicators, Volume IQ, Liquidity IQ, and MA Rush to find interesting day trading setups, primarily in the futures market today. We're going to share with you what we consider as important on the price chart, and we're going to share with you how we are setting up our charts to begin with, and when we believe it's time to take a trade or perhaps stay on the sidelines. So that's the objective of today. All right. And I think, Ron, there's some questions there, Ron. We're going to touch on the divergence curve indicator perhaps towards the end of this workshop. I know you have to leave, but it's going to be recorded, and we're going to upload this to our YouTube channel shortly afterwards. So guys, if you need to drop off, don't worry. Everything is recorded and everything is going to be on our YouTube page afterwards. All right. So, and this brings up another important thing. If you guys have any questions or things that you want to discuss, please don't hold back. The more the merrier. The more interaction we have, the better it is. So please put your questions, symbol requests, setups, whatever it is, into the Q&A box, and we're going to go through these as this live trading workshop progresses. A couple of ground rules. Now, the focus today will be on day trading. And in fact, mainly day trading futures. We may have a look, at some stock symbols. I was really hopeful that NVIDIA would move a bit more after the earnings came out yesterday. It stayed completely flat. Quite surprising. So if there was a big move, I think there would have been perhaps some interesting day trading opportunities, perhaps for a gap fill or something similar. It didn't move too much. So we're going to probably stay mainly in the future space. But if you guys have any stock symbol requests, please put them into the chat as well. All right. So day trading is the focus because we want to open trades and ideally also close trades within this live trading workshop, which is scheduled to last approximately 1.5 to 2 hours. So therefore, the day trading time frame is what we're going to be using today. But all the technicals, all the indicators, all the setups that we will be discussing, these are universally applicable. So if you're a swing trader or perhaps an investor, you can still use the same techniques just on a bigger time frame. Also, we are going to use TradingView as our trading platform today. I know many of you are on Wave or NinjaTrader or perhaps some other platforms, but chances are you have heard of TradingView and perhaps you even have a free TradingView account. It is just the greatest common denominator, and this is why we're going to use TradingView. But on all the other platforms, the setups should work exactly the same. All right. And of course, sometimes, because this is a live trading workshop, we are going to take trades today, no matter what. Sometimes we may force a trade, even if the setup is not ideal, just for the sake of, getting into the market to show you how we do it when we close out trades and so forth. But we're going to comment on this and we're going to discuss, hey, how does the setup look like? And perhaps what else would have been nice to see for a particular setup before we take the trade. But of course, since we only have 2 hours time, sometimes we may need to force a trade or force open a trade. With this, is every trade going to be a winner? No, maybe. I don't know. We've been pretty good lately in our live trading workshops. It is possible, but there's no guarantee. There's no strategy which guarantees winning. Completely impossible. However, having this said, we will do everything, of course, in our power to increase our odds to have a winning trade. So we're going to use multi-time frame analysis. We're going to be aware of where support and resistance is. Where's our zone of control as per volume profile, as per volume IQ? What is the overall trend direction as per MA Rush and the bias on volume IQ? And so on and so on. Of course, we're going to do this. We don't want to have losers. Nobody wants to have losers. So we're going to do everything in our power to avoid these. But of course, it's the market, so there's always a chance of having a winner or a loser. And we're going to be aware of major market events. And in fact, that's what we're going to start off today in just a second. Nicholas is going to go through the events calendar to see, which economic events may be happening within our workshop time in the next 90 to 120 minutes. All right. Now, one more thing before we get into it. Primarily, we are going to use our liquidity IQ and our volume IQ indicators. And both serve very distinct purposes. So liquidity IQ, oftentimes we also call it our telescope, because it gives us the big picture of the chart. What is going on? Where are key levels? Where are key support zones? Where are key resistance zones? This is very important to know before entering a trade. So let's say you want to enter a long trade around here. Yeah. You should be aware, hey, there's a resistance zone right above us. So this trade may not have much room. Yeah? So this gives us the big picture. Then volume IQ comes in as the microscope, because it will allow us to see where is the trading volume happening right now. Where is the zone of control? What's the difference between buyers and sellers at price levels, at certain price levels, and so forth. So this is going to help us to refine our entries. In fact, find our entries primarily, but we will also be aware of where is the zone of control. So where are these key zones, the support zones, and the resistance zones as per liquidity IQ. All right, and one last thing, and then we're going to get to the chart. We're also going to use MA Rush as our overall bias of trend direction. Are we rather bullish or bearish right now? So this could be just another filter that we may consult before entering into a trade. All right. So with this, let's get real. Let's switch over to the chart. So Niklas, are you there, and are you ready to share with us your charts and your setup?
Let's get started.
Perfect. Okay. Let's do it. All right.
All right. So I sent a request to share my screen.
Yep. I got it. I'm going to hide my video too, so you guys can focus on the charts instead of focusing on my face. And Niklas, please take it away.
Cool. Okay. So let me know if you could see my trading view.
Yep. I can see it.
All right, perfect. So, hey, everybody, what we're going to do today is we're going to look at a bunch of different futures. On every single chart we're on, we're going to be using volume IQ, MA Rush, and liquidity IQ. And we're going to look at the 15-minute chart primarily, but also sometimes zoom into the 5-minute. And we're always going to have liquidity IQ set to the 30-minute reference time frame. We might switch it to the 1 hour if there's no nearby levels on a chart. but as a rule of thumb, it's just set to the 30-minute chart. So we have various symbols here, and we're going to walk through each of them and maybe add some and see what we're thinking. So number one, the first thing we're going to do is check out that economic calendar.
Oh, perfect. I was just about to say, let's do that.
So there seems to be some important stuff coming up. I don't know much about these Fed speeches, but here we have Fed Barr speech from Barr at 10 a.m. The authority to set interest rates, board decides on discount, the FOMC. Okay, well, I don't know what's being put out here, but we have some event coming out at 10, so that's probably going to cause some volatility.
But it's only a level 2 event, huh? It's not the highest.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Or how do I check that?
If you see the little bars there next to the
okay,
flag.
yeah, level 2. All right.
Yeah.
So
actually in trading, it actually tells you how major or minor the event is. So in this case, in fact, this was it is a level 2 event, which has obviously some significance, and you can actually filter. You see this button there?
Oh yeah, I didn't have that on, so it's not even probably not going to be that volatile because it's not highly important.
Exactly. So in terms of highly important events, I think there's nothing coming up in the next 2 hours.
Good.
So that's good news. So we got the green flag for this, but of course at 10 a.m. something will happen. So we're going to have an eye on the markets, but yeah, it should not be too major.
Perfect. Okay, that's good news. So the first symbol we're looking at is Dow Mini or Micro, MYM, the symbol. And we mentioned this in Discord last night. The setup is still the same, which is we're currently, kind of bearish like the other indexes where we've come down to lows of at least a month, I think, something like that. Yeah, about a month. These are lows of the month that we're near. And the nice thing about this chart is that the tier 2 zone, so the area with the most volume traded, is below us. When we were looking at this just before the webinar 15 minutes ago, we kind of missed the setup that just happened here. So the idea on this chart is we have bearish momentum. We are surrounded by heavy selling bias above us, and there's an abyss below if we break this support. So the idea on this is what we call an over-under trade, and it's based on the tier 2 zone. So, if we rewound 15 minutes in the past, the trade idea was see how it holds up at this tier 2 zone, and then when it starts to make a move away from it in either direction to the up or downside, you enter in that direction. That train has already left the station here. It held the tier 2 zone and it blasted up. So we're going to keep an eye on it. It's too late to go long, in my opinion, and it's not smart to go short.
Yeah.
So we're not going to touch this. I don't even have an alert in mind for this. Maybe we'll set one just for good practice if it comes down to here.
And keep this on for a second, Nicholas. Just one thought here is, of course, hindsight is 2020. But even though we are surrounded by sell bias blocks as per volume IQ, I kind of like that setup for the long direction for 3 reasons. First of all, we are in the tier 2 buy zone as per volume IQ. Secondly, we are also near support. Look at where Liquidity IQ puts support, and we have a very distinct support level just below price. And thirdly, the overall bias of our volume profile is actually bullish right now. So three reasons there. 2 reasons against it is bearish momentum and on MA Rush. You see the bearish flag there, and a lot of sell blocks on the volume profile. But if you do like a comparison table, there's more favors for the long direction if you want to give them all the same importance than for the short direction. So it could have been, hindsight is 2020. It would have been a nice long entry opportunity.
Yeah, and we mentioned in the Discord last night at like midnight or something that this is a really good long recovery opportunity because this tier 2 zone, and even though you have seller blocks, you got to think of it in terms of the market. So we've been downtrending. What do you think people are doing a lot of the time? We're at this important support. A lot of people are probably shorting. So as all this volume's coming in, this is a lot of it, is big players accumulating contracts, buying, but it's a lot of retail traders shorting. So even though there's sell blocks up here, look, this one just disappeared. If we do recover, all these sellers are going to have to cover, and you quickly can see a blast off. So sometimes it kind of does the opposite, where the selling blocks act as fuel for a move against them, and the same thing in the opposite direction. But I set an alert here. This isn't interesting to me right now because we're a little too late. It's too risky to get in. So this is the 5-minute chart on the Dow now. And on the 5-minute chart, actually the tier 2 zone. So on the 15-minute, the tier 2 zone is down here. But on the 5-minute, it's up here. So if there's any place where it's going to see pressure and stop going up, it's probably in this zone right here. And we can already see it's starting to slow down up there once it's touching the bottom of that. But it's
Yeah,
not that interesting to
that
me.
that could be. I mean, just to discuss this real quick, if you were to think, hey, maybe the market's going to just wick up there, then retrace to the downside. A couple of factors for that one too. Overall, we are bearish. I mean, Rush is bearish right now, and our support levels as per Liquidity IQ are not too far away. So our resistance levels are not too far away above price. So once again, you know, if the market shapes up to be today to be somewhat range bound, these are the areas where you either want to go short or long within that trading range. But
Yeah, not a crazy short entry right there.
yeah, so
Up there.
let's also keep an eye on that one, um, just to yeah, potentially think about a short.
Perfect. Okay. And then this was the other setup that we had set up. I wish we checked this chart first. Was the gold break of the test of support here. So we missed this train as well. But if we retrace a bit, I think this is a really nice
Yeah.
short. And even, if we weren't trying to trade conservatively here, I'd probably chase this right now and just get in a contract and then try to average in once we come back up here. But I want to get an alert on this to tell
Yeah.
us if we come back up to 90.
And the setup, yeah, exactly. And the setup we are looking for here is what we call the zone break retrace setup. So what is that? So in this case, you can see support was broken. Yeah, this red line there, you can see it there. This was our support level. It's been broken. Oftentimes, when this happens, market will have a nice follow through. But before the follow through really kicks off, oftentimes we see a bit of a retracement back to the broken support level, which will at that point act as resistance. The support becomes resistance when broken, and then after that, the downwards move will really kick off. So this is why Nicholas will put an alert there. If we see a bit of a retracement back to the broken support level, this could be a nice short entry opportunity. And
Yeah,
this,
I think.
yeah,
Oh,
sorry,
sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh,
You go ahead, Dan.
I was just about to say that in this case, there's not much info we can get from volume IQ because that's kind of uncharted territory there. Price just broke below a level which hasn't been visited in quite some time. But from Liquidity IQ alone, this is a nice setup for a zone break retrace if we see it.
Yeah, and all the end of February, the second half of February, or actually all February in general, has been teasing this support level getting broken. And we had a message from, I forget who it was. It might have been a David inside of the Discord that maybe we're going to see the 2800s, and we mentioned this in the Discord last night. Right here, actually, we signaled it at 2916. I mentioned, hey, we're coming down, and it looks like we're going to get a 2900 support and maybe the 2800s. So we're there now. I think this is a nice one if we come back up to here to enter in one contract short. So right here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that gives us, for every 10-cent tick on this, that's $1. So if we go short one contract here and we set our stop up to here, that's $100 risk. If we come up to here and get one contract, I think it would be smart to take a second contract short if we come up
Yeah.
and test the level even more and have our stop right above one of these pivots.
And Nicholas,
Right at one of these pivots.
yeah, this brings up a good user question from NJ. He says, "Hey, shouldn't we use the mini contracts instead of the micro contracts?" In our case, no. We like the micros because we want to have the flexibility, especially with our account size. We have around $10,000 in our trading account for this workshop here. With our account size, we want to have the flexibility to scale in and scale out. And of course, if you're on the mini contracts, which are 10 times as much, we wouldn't have this. You would could at most perhaps trade one contract and so forth. So for our account size, for our risk capital that we've allocated for this trading session, this is not an option. We prefer the micro contracts. And Nicholas, one quick one from Lucio. Yeah, just keep the mouse a bit slower moving. It's just
Sorry.
it makes him dizzy. Yeah,
Ah, okay. Yeah, my
perfect.
bad habits.
Yeah,
Okay. Let me turn down the speed on my mouse. That'll constrict me.
yeah.
Okay, so it should be a little slower now. Let me make it even slower. Okay, now I can't go fast or too fast. Okay, so now that's gold. We have an alert right here. This is where we're looking to get in. And I honestly, this is such a big time level, 2900, that I really wish we got in. I would have gone short the second we saw that signal because I don't think it's going to retrace anytime soon. I think it's going to really drop. So,
We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. I think I still have some hope for the gold.
okay, good. Yeah, maybe it will. Maybe it will. Tends to. So now on Nasdaq.
And guys, just real quick side, Niklas. This also shows you that every trader has a different trading personality. So some are more, in quotes, aggressive. And there's nothing wrong with it. You jump into a move that's already in progress. And some of us, like me, for example, are more conservative. I rather miss out on a trade than getting in at a level which is not ideal for me. And both have merit, but both trading styles. And I think at the end, what's important for all you guys is that you are true to what works for you, what is your trading personality, and what you feel comfortable with. Because I feel comfortable if I get filled, for example, at a price that I really want. For example, the retracement now at a good price. I'd rather miss out on a trade uh, for getting into it at the right price instead. For Niklas trades more than me. He jumps in more aggressively. He doesn't want to miss out. That's his trading personality. And once again, it's all about being true to yourself and doing what works for you.
Definitely. Yeah, and but yeah, we'll leave this alert here on gold. It's definitely a better idea to wait for it to retrace. On Nasdaq now, MNQ, this is getting really interesting. So this is the 15-minute chart. This morning, all the indexes flew up. We hit this resistance,
Oh
liquidity
yeah.
capture, sold down. The MA rush is bullish. Tier 2 zone here. We're getting a liquidity capture. This, if we go a little lower, I think this is nice for actually a long bounce with a tight stop, or not a tight stop, but a reasonable stop. Um, for the sole reason that sometimes these tier 2 zones price drops below them, but they're actually kind of still getting tested. We're still in a nice chunk of volume here. And it looks like, we're ping-ponging between resistance and support. This is a massive range. While we were talking, we just dropped 300 points almost. So this one actually might be nice for a long
Yeah.
bounce if this, what do you think, Daniel? It's a big, look at the size of this, when you're buying
I
bounces, you
I
have
I
to
would
consider
I would wait. Yeah. This to me,
it's
and I know it's a good
bearish.
setup. It is bearish, and it's also kind of trying to catch a falling knife right now. I would love to see a bit of evidence that hey, this falling knife is actually slowing down. Perhaps we see a first green bar or something coming in, and then potentially getting into this long trade. But right now, you know, I would stay on the sidelines to see where the actual stopping point of that move will be.
Yeah, and the bars are so big, so volatile
Yeah.
that you can see the zone around support. The top to the bottom of it is literally 115 points. So whenever you buy a long bounce, you have to consider, you're hoping there's a liquidity capture and it's going to bounce. We've got this support level here, but then the true one is all the way down here.
Yeah.
And this zone, this volatility box here is massive. And whenever you're buying a bounce, you have to expect, like if we shorted up at this bounce into liquidity capture, you have to take into account for your plan that it might go all the way up to here. So if we buy here, once we get below this level, this box is going to switch over to, well, actually this level expired now, but if I set this to the 1 hour, we'll see what I'm talking about, which is that the true range that you have to be considering or, think, hey, it might go there is probably going to be all the way down here or something like that. So
Yeah.
now actually this is a support level. I don't know if this one expired. Let me check. No, this level is still relevant, but once we get closer to this level, the nearest support zone box is going to swap over to this, and that might tell us, hey, we might go all the way down to like 850. Um, but yeah, let's keep an eye on this one.
Yeah,
It
put an
is a
alert when it
falling
comes to
knife.
the lower level of support there. That could be of interest. Well, a really aggressive scalp trade. So this is going just thinking that hey, markets tend to bounce at these key levels. Obviously, the sell that we had before at resistance, our price was rounding off, and it was not so volatile. That's a much more promising setup. Uh, just because it's rounding off, the bars are not so big. Also, the overall trend is,
Yeah.
is bearish anyways on Nasdaq. We've been falling for a long time. So there was more evidence say that this price may drop off from there. Now we
And
are
we had seller
bearish.
blocks too. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're hoping to for a bullish move. Let's see where we get, but I don't want to jump in without any evidence that
No, definitely
this
not.
will
There's
hold.
there's none too. Like on volume IQ, bearish, no volume data beneath us to tell us there's going to be support. Long-term bearish, short-term bearish, tier 2 above us. This is like look, we already hit that alert. This is like a short that we missed. I wouldn't be surprised if we go to like 2,700 or something. Yeah, so that's Nasdaq. So one thing about
And
the
guys,
indexes.
real quick on this one. Sorry, Nicholas. Should we break that support level, then we truly have the abyss below. And I think that at that point, you may even consider a short entry right there, where we put our stop just above the broken support level if that happens, and then go short and see if you can ride that trend further to the downside.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would be scared a little bit. I mean, we have a stop loss, but how much it's whipsawing, I would be scared that I've seen in the past couple days sometimes Nasdaq. I mean, that's why you have a stop loss. But I saw the Nasdaq contract jump up 40 points in one tick, or like 1 second. So very volatile. But yeah, if we get this break, that's the loss of this. Chances are it bounces a little bit. But if it breaks, how long has it been since we've been below there? So we have a level all the way down at 29.40. But yeah, it's been, it looks like we would have an event like this where this is almost to the T, an exact replica of what we're seeing, where price comes up, bounces off a resistance, then just plummets. And even though it feels like it should recover, once it gets a zone break through a support level, it just drops really fast. So we might see that happen here. Um, yeah, Daniel, you can call the shot on this one if you'd like to go short. I think it's a little overextended to the short side right now
Let's see
to
what happens.
chase.
Right now, I honestly I let the market tell me what what should be done. We are at the crossroads, so to say. Um, I know Nicholas' personality is more, hey, we're gonna see the bounce, especially since we have so many liquidity captures there. It just to me, this seems like catching a falling knife. But for perhaps a quick scalp trade to the long side, just because we may see an initial bounce of the support level, it could not be the worst idea.
Oh,
If
yeah,
we,
I don't think it's a long trade at all. I was just saying to take a short prematurely that it might go
oh no,
against us really quick.
not
So
prematurely. I want to see
yeah,
the break of that level for sure before considering a short.
yeah,
Yeah.
a great short entry also would be if we came back up to like the bottom area of this tier two, because
Yeah.
then we could use the tier two as a stop. So yeah, I think yeah, let's let this develop. Let's keep that on the back burner. On the Russell M2K. So here we actually had a zone break. So this is a zone break to the short side. The nearest level is below us at 21,150. Tier 2 above us, this one might be a short break retrace if we come back up here.
Yep.
You agree, Daniel? Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, and
That's
then we can
one of my
place a
favorite
stop.
setups. Short break retrace, and the support is broken. Price comes back up for one last test of that support level to the upside, which will act as resistance, and then you jump into a short trade. Especially if we have an overall bearish bias, which we do have for the Russell. Yeah.
Yes, so 2168. And one thing is that, they often say when the indexes, American indexes drop, gold goes up as like a safe haven for investors. So as all of these indexes are dropping, here we're now below 21,000. Wow. On Nasdaq, maybe that's going to cause gold to do that retrace up to here intermittently, and that might give us our opportunity to go short. But oddly, gold has been seemingly following the indexes in the past. I think this week a little bit. It seems like when they go up, it goes up, and when they go down, it goes down, at least in the short term. So look, we're
Yeah.
already down. This was such a good point. What a falling knife. We're
Yeah.
already down another 100 points from the last time we checked.
Nicholas, let's put a alert there for the retrace. I'd like to love to see a retrace to that broken level and then potentially enter into a short trade. Yeah, at this point. I like the retrace because I've seen it so many times that the market tries to fake you out first after a break. It comes back up and then it really takes off. So let's see if we can see the retrace there.
Sure.
Let's
Okay,
also
and I'm
take a
gonna
quick look at oil next. There's some interesting stuff brewing on MCL. If
Sure, and I just want to reflect on this because we're about to hit our alert. This was the idea to go short or long on the over under here. So if we want to go long, we're getting into the point on YM, and if we want to go short, we're also getting near the point. What do you think? You like NQ a little more as our index short?
I'm just a bit worried that all the indexes are on a downfall right now. I want to see where this ends. So going long on the Dow, to some degree they are all somewhat correlated. Might
Yeah,
be
going short though,
going
as
short.
we lose the tier two
Yeah.
here. because then we
Oh,
might fall down
yeah.
to support and then break the support.
Yeah, for a scalp trade to the short side, I mean, there's not much room in that trade, but yeah, that could be of interest. So here, this would be, once again, you have to manage your expectations. Look where support is. It's just below price, the 50-minute chart. So I guess there's a bit of room. It's the 50-minute. So yeah, it could be an interesting a short trade. Um, yeah, with a
I
stop
want to
loss
see how it
just
reacts to this too. Yeah.
yeah, because that's a tier two buy zone, and it's gonna go to sell zone once price penetrates it. But yeah,
Yeah, let's
it,
see if it breaks it and then reconsider.
yeah, okay,
Okay.
perfect.
So yeah, I really like this one. The reason I like that one more than Nasdaq, we'll see if we get this retracement, is that this one's kind of floating a little bit more than Nasdaq. Nasdaq's plummeting. This one's kind of floating, so I think it has more downside if the
Yeah,
longs lose here once this breaks. And I wouldn't even cover at the support. I would try to see, hey, are we going to break the support and see how that goes?
food for thought on that one, Niklas. Where would you put your stop loss on the MY? Just above that swing high, I guess, huh? All the way
I
up
would
there.
what I usually do on MY, no, I would that's a big range. That's 300 points. So I would, if we go short, let's say around here, I would wait. I usually look at the peaks in the volume profile. So I'd look for where's there a lot of volume. So obviously right here at the tier two, also here. If we broke through here, like let's say this level, I would make the conclusion, hey, most of the shorts or most of the longs are now underwater because this is a buy volume area and the big chunk, the big floor here, these two levels have been lost. So I would be short biased if we broke this level right here. And I'd place my stop probably right here um, at this one, because if we come up here and then this one starts to get broken, I would think, hey, now the longs are winning because all of the big volume levels are now broken to the bull side. I place my stop right here, and it also lines up with 43,600, which is a nice round number. So we would go short we would go short betting on the 43,500 losing as support, and then a stop at 43,600. So it's like a clean reward to risk with the target like 200 or 250 points away. On gold, we're having a retracement here, so we wanted to go short on this one. The thing is, as the indexes drop, let me open up NQ on our trading chart here. As the indexes drop, I have a feeling that gold would go up. But what do you think, Daniel? You want to take a shot on this? On gold?
Sorry,
I think you're
I
muted, Daniel.
was I was muted. Sorry. Yes, I was saying yes. That could be an interesting short trade on MGC. Uh, yeah, for sure. Put your stop loss just about the recent swing high there. Yeah, maybe a bit higher even. And yeah, something like that to go.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So
And
we're up here.
enter by limit order. Yeah, that's
Nine,
and what's really cool on Trading
six.
View, yeah, you can just yeah, enter your levels then, and you can just move things around. So now on the chart, Nicholas, without putting anything in there, try to move. Yeah, that's so cool on Trading View. I love that feature. You can just move your stop loss there, and it updates everything and your target too. Yeah, if you before you do this, just move
Oh,
the
my
yeah,
target. Yeah.
yeah, move the target down there too. That's so cool. I love it. Yeah, canceled. What was
One.
that? One more time. Oh, I guess the limit was not, we didn't have a good limit price. Yeah, put the limit price a little bit higher, maybe. So it's
No,
not,
it was good. It was a good price. It was
okay.
nowhere near price. It just said the stop order was canceled. Let's try again. Maybe I clicked the wrong thing.
All right.
Stop loss order canceled. What's happening here? Limit order canceled. I'm on
Uh,
the correct symbol. Well, let me make sure we're on
yeah.
interactive brokers. Let's just try one other thing, which is, this is strange, but let's just place this order and then
All
let's
right.
place the stop and target after. Send order. What's happening here? Send order. It's canceled. All right, well, let's just make sure this isn't happening on every single symbol.
Nope. Nasdaq is retracing.
I'm just going to place a limit order far away.
A little small technical glitch.
What's this? Looks a little odd that this is all NA.
That should be
Canceled. None of them are being placed.
what?
Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because we are not. No, we're on the correct contract. What is going on? Outside RTH stop loss, that's not relevant. Limit, and it's not telling us,
Let
why
me
is it
try it
saying,
on
oh,
my, that's
that's,
fine for the
yeah.
delayed data there because we have live data on Trading View.
And let me just move the zoom so I could see what's happening here. Yeah, this looks a little strange. Why is it all NA? And when I place the order, limit order canceled. Do you want to
Hmm.
try on your end, Daniel?
Yeah.
Log me out.
Nicholas,
And
keep an eye on the chart. Just gonna try it internally here. 1 second, guys. A small technical glitch on our end. Okay, let's see. Let me just log
let's,
in.
while you're doing that, I'm going to check oil. On the Russell M2K, look, we had a nice kind of a zone break retrace here. We weren't watching it. We were talking about this one. Look, it almost hit our alert. We had a liquidity capture, which is a sign that once we came back up to this zone, people are still selling. There's a lot of volume. And now, look, we ricocheted right off of it. Hopefully that maybe it's a permissions thing on Interactive Brokers, but we logged in as we usually do. We're logged in here, Interactive Brokers Live. Very strange.
Oh,
Hopefully it
it
works on
is.
Daniel's end.
It's.
Sorry, Daniel, what were you going to say?
Oh no, no. I'm just talking to myself. Yeah, all good so far. Let me just
So
do a quick trade.
on oil, this would be a zone break retrace. I think Daniel was probably thinking to the long side.
Yep, exactly.
So a lot
It's.
of accumulation down here, tons of volume, and 69 held up. And when we were looking in the lunch and learn, I think we had liquidity IQ on like the 4 hour or something. And this level right here, 60, not this exact one, but I think 68.80 was super important in the long term. And clearly a lot of traders bought. It recovered. We broke above 69, and now it's trying to break 70. We actually hit the high of the day was 69.98. So I think this would be a good long trade if we came back down to that support or that resistance that's going to act as support. So let's put in an alert right there, 69.42. Cool. And hit create.
And while you're doing this, I'm getting the same issue here, but I'm gonna fix this right now by logging into our IB. I did make a change recently to segregate our funds in the account to different sub accounts, and I think that may have
Well, it probably doesn't have, you probably have to enable permissions in the dashboard on the website or something.
yeah.
Here, yeah, so here on gold, so we came back up. We wouldn't have hit our limit order by 4 cents, and now the retrace is already happening. But if price does come up more, we're going to enter. So let's keep an eye on gold. On NQ, this would probably be the time if if we make it in time, I think we can still look to enter this. This is probably the setup in focus on NQ. The Russell, same deal. And oil, we're waiting for it to come down to there. And let's check out some other symbols that are super interesting. So one of them is, what is this? Micro Euro USD futures, M6E. This one also had a zone break. It tends to go down. Actually, no, it's not doing what it usually does. But today we had a test of 104.70. You know, we've had kind of, how long has it been in an uptrend? Quite a while, but now it's starting to show signs of weakness. I think the train's left the station on this one, but it would have been a nice zone break retrace opportunity.
And Nicholas, real quick, it's
It's
fixed.
fixed. Okay,
Yeah,
great. So let
that
me,
was is so Interactive Brokers required me to do a confirmation on some legal stuff. I just did it. It was approved instantaneously, and now we are well good to go on live trading. Mhm.
okay, so let me see. Oh yeah, look, now we got commissions and stuff showing up.
Yeah.
So let me try to place an order, and it placed. Okay, good. So we're up and running. So unfortunately, we kind of missed our little entry here, but it might come back up, especially
Yeah.
if the indexes drop. I think we'll wait until we get back up there to reconsider
Hmm.
placement of the entry. NQ is now recovering. So let's take a look. This is the 15-minute chart. I want to take a look as well on the, sorry for hopping around here, guys, but let me come over here. We just got an alert that M2K came back up.
That's
Okay.
an interesting short too, huh?
Yeah, let me hop over to our trading chart. I think this is a nice one here, but although, you know, we are bouncing, I really didn't like the idea of being too gung-ho on the short on the markets because we dropped so much in the morning that oftentimes it whipsaws. But this one is kind of nice. We got a tier 2 up here. What do you
Yeah.
think, Daniel? Go short with a stop.
Yeah,
above the tier
let's
two?
do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
But per limit entry, yeah, just a bit above price and put your stop loss.
Okay. Let's drag the stop right there.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then didn't the profit just at the lower end of things? Yeah, just for a quick scalp. Yep.
Okay. Let's go.
And this should work now. All right. Back in business.
If we come up there,
Yeah.
we're gonna get entered at 2171 about. And up here at the tier two, this would be, it's probably too late to get in there, but that would probably be, if we were looking back here, that would be the ideal short entry area.
Well, we
And we're
may
gonna
still.
get hit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's let this one play out. And let's check out what's happening on gold. So
I still like gold for a short. I know it's recovering,
yeah.
but this is another nice zone break retrace. I would, you know, potentially also shorting gold when it comes back up to that level once again. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's check the
It's,
5 minute on it. Okay. And oh, one other thing we haven't checked out, which is I haven't checked it out today. It's probably look at this. This is already looking like a zone break retrace that has happened. Um, but it's a really nice setup. Let's check out micro Bitcoin. 85K. So Bitcoin has been plummeting recently. This is the 15-minute chart. So we got filled on the Russell and our trades in progress here. And let me just move our stop to make sure we're out of the right there. And I put it here because these are the two biggest volume blocks on the profile. So I'm expecting they're at least going to get tested. And then we don't want to be in if they get broken. Another thing I would do on this type of trade, let me just make sure I know what Nasdaq's doing. So Nasdaq is really coming back up here. I wouldn't be surprised if Nasdaq, I mean, we didn't even get a zone break signal on the 15-minute. I wouldn't be surprised if Nasdaq came all the way up to here, although that's still quite a ways away, but that would be a great potential short opportunity if it came into the tier two zone. On the Russell, Daniel, I would actually consider if we came up to like right here, because we're so close to the stop loss, you enter in a second contract because the ideal short is actually the tier two. And we entered a little early, so it would bring our average without really messing our risk. But yeah, that's up to you. And over here,
oh, I was
okay,
muted. I said I agree, Nicholas, that could be a nice dollar cost averaging move there to scale in another contract in the expectation that our tier two sell zone as per volume IQ will hold up and then price is gonna continue to move further down. Let's see
yeah.
what
So
happens there.
I'll put in a limit order there for a second contract because we're really not risking much here. It's one micro contract on the Russell, and our stop loss here. I would then move that to right here. And why would I move it right there? Well, it gives us time, gives us space to test the tier two. And let me check on the right side here. And yeah, let's say right. Oops, right here. And the reason for this is if we get up to here, this level, we're now in a tier one buy. So there's a high probability it's just going to rocket up. And the other possibility, the thing I'm seeing here is this is the last, like sell level we see until we come all the way up here. And traders' eyes are probably going to be on 2200 at that point. So if
Yeah,
this gets broken, let's just get out because then the tier two is broken and the sellers aren't reinforcing the downward trend.
yeah. And Nicholas, while you do this, I have to comment on a couple of user suggestions here as to why our orders were canceled or not accepted by the broker. It's actually unrelated to the fact that it says delayed data. We're just going to comment on this real quick. This
Sure.
has to do with our account setup. So we are using real-time data. You can see the little green dot in trading view next to the symbol on top. Nicholas, maybe just hover there. Yeah, that's it. We have real-time data that we get from trading view. Because of this, we don't need real-time data from interactive brokers. So there we are on delayed. You can see it there, but that's totally fine because we see the real-time data there. That's just the way we are set up. It's unrelated to why this order was rejected. This was 100% because I had to check a box on our interactive brokers portal first before trading was re-enabled. So that's the reason.
Perfect. Okay. So I want to get a read here on what's happening on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin chilling right beneath 100,000 for all of February. Yeah, geez, crazy range, basically $2,000 to $3,000 range for 25 days. And then on, what is this, Monday, I think, check. Yeah, Monday, we broke through the 95,000 support and we dropped hard all the way down to here. I don't really see much of a trade setup here. We're already so to the downside. This could do one thing or the other. I don't really see a clear setup here. There's no important volume levels, at least on the 15-minute, till all the way up here. Maybe this would be the area to consider going long if it's broken, or short, expecting it to hold as resistance. But not that interested in this chart. So what have we checked out? We've checked out the Russell, we've checked out Dow, Nasdaq. Let's just take a look at MES to see what it's doing or what it looks like. It's probably going to it looks like a way cleaner bounce on ES than it does on Nasdaq. So on Nasdaq, we come back to it. We actually set a lower low. What do you think of this one? We're already short the Russell, but yeah, there wasn't really a clean zone break, and it got really wicked really well here, which means like there's a long wick. People bought it up quickly once it came below 21,000. We set a lower low. ES, on the other hand,
I would not double dip because it's kind of the markets are somewhat correlated. I would rather
mhm.
go into the oil trade. Can we look at oil? Because that to
Yeah,
me is
it's flying away.
it's flying away. Okay, too bad.
But
But
what do you think? Yeah, I was thinking come down here
oh,
for
sorry, not the
retrace.
oil trade. I misspoke. I meant the gold trade. Don't we see a nice zone break retrace set
Yeah,
up there?
yeah, but it's already down here. So
It's gonna come up. It's gonna come up.
okay, so we'll set an alert here at
Yes.
2892. Let's just keep that in mind. And yeah, if the markets drop down, it's probably going to come up. So right here was when the markets were plummeting, and here is now that they're kind of bouncing a little bit. As they go up, gold goes down a little bit. So yeah, let's not double dip on the indexes. I just want to take a look though at MES. So MES set, and this is sometimes, the indexes are correlated. So MES set a higher low while NASDAQ set a lower low. So oftentimes, let's say if NASDAQ does continue beneath that support, like let's say by the end of the day, we're down here, MES would then be a more attractive short for me because it has further to drop, I think. MNQ already set a lower low. It already went and tested a deeper relative drop. MES still hasn't done that. So you know that people or traders who are long MES are kind of like on the edge of their seat, hoping, oh God, I hope we don't follow what happens on NQ. So there might be, a more explosive sell-off if it does make a lower low. We're entering into a sell block here. We're already in on the Russell, which is probably going to follow to some extent, and they are recovering. We'll see what happens. The tier two might whipsaw, but the tier two is all the way up, many points away, and the same thing on NQ. The tier two is all the way up here. On the Russell that we're in, tier two is right here, which is why we're going to place that second contract there if it gets filled. So
Yeah,
let's
but this big move that we saw there, a retracement of this big move is completely normal. That's happens a lot after a strong move. But this is why this whole Fibonacci retracement logic comes in. If you were to measure just for the fun of it and shits and giggles what that move was with Fib retracement and how far we may want to come back. Oh, not from this one, just from the last top, and see how much this retracement might come down if you measure it all the way down to the swing low that we had. Yeah. So now look at where our 61.8 retracement zone is. This is exactly where where's our stop loss? Yeah, above this. So yeah, we may retrace all the way up there before this downwards move continues if you go off according to this Fibonacci retracement logic that many traders use. So let's keep it. So these retracements are completely normal. That's what I was about to say. I was hoping it's a bit more shallow. So it would be a classic zone break retrace back to broken support now acting as resistance, but it's still a completely valid setup that we're trading right now. We're averaging into it.
definitely. And yep, so same thing on all the indexes. We don't want to double dip. We got our position in. Let's check out some other contracts because all of the setups are pretty much the same thing right now. Short break retraces on all of these symbols. Wow, we haven't checked this in a while. Look what happened here. This is the Dow. So Dow came down. Um, this is the 5-minute. So let's go over to the 15-minute. remember we were talking about that tier 2 zone being an over-under setup, and we were actually thinking of it for a short. But look what happened. It dipped right down to the tier 2, and then right at the center of it, we were actually talking about these two levels, they held, and it bounced really powerfully. This is crazy. I wonder if there's some sort of news coming out or something. Let me check the calendar.
It's
Um,
10:22.
I guess
Yeah.
maybe it was when did that happen? At 10 o'clock. I mean, what kind of stocks are in the Dow?
All the big ones,
Industrial,
yeah.
yeah. So maybe the home sales had something to do with that. Anyways, we bounced all the way up to this resistance. All the indexes are now recovering pretty violently. We got in our second short here, so we'll see what happens. This is the big test, the tier 2. Quite a retracement so far. This one really took off. So let's check out here. Yeah,
This one
look
is
at this.
hitting resistance there. So I think we are kind of correlate on many of the indexes. This one heading resistance. Russell testing now this tier 2 zone of the volume profile. So that's the big test. If we gonna see a bounce, it's gonna happen soon, or this trade yeah, did not work out.
Yeah. So I think we have a good stop here because if we do accelerate through the
Yeah,
80s, I wouldn't be surprised if now they're all going to whipsaw up to the resistance
yeah.
on all of these symbols. So we're seeing it right now. Look, the tier 2 is already broken. We're now inside this tier 1. We want to leave our stops where they are, Daniel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A big mistake that you can make in trading is say, okay, it's gonna recover, it's gonna recover. Let's move our stop further away. No, we're gonna cut our losses. If we get stopped out there, we're gonna cut our losses exactly where it is and not move the stop further out, make them wider. You just have to, take that bullet if it happens, because most of the really bad trades that I've made in my career is because of widening my stop loss in the hope that, hey,
For sure.
it's gonna come. So now we're just gonna take it. If we get stopped out, it is what it is, and we move on to the next symbol. It's gonna be a modest loss of maybe $150, but at least it's not not something crazy like which would be beyond our risk profile in that sense.
Yeah, and look here, we got a cutout in the profile. So once we hit our stop, we're basically saying, hey, look, the big chunk of traders who are long are now winning. We're on the losing side. This is a big, peak of the volume profile. The tier 2 is right around it. If we get above here, right at our stop, look, not a lot of traders trade here. There's not a lot of volume. So if there's buying pressure, it's probably going to blast right through there until it hits this next ceiling, which, as it usually is at a huge psychological level, 2,200, a nice round number, right? So, and if that breaks, well, then the sky's the limit. So we don't. That's definitely a good point. Just take the bullet and then move on to another trade setup. And one trade setup that came up here as the indexes came up was gold. It didn't come all the way to our zone.
Yeah, but I
Um,
still like gold for a short. If it comes up a bit higher, I'll be conservative on this one. I would like to, as once again my ideal entry price. But yeah, uh maybe not, maybe a bit lower than this, but yeah, if it goes into the zone, yeah, perhaps to this level, I would definitely consider a short on gold.
yeah, and place a stop. And look what gold tends to do. I mean,
It's
the metals usually move slower than indexes. What gold tends to do is create a pretty wide range and chill out in that range for a long period of time and then just suddenly break the range. So this is one such range right here. If we entered short here, we would want to place our stop at the top of that range, like right here. And we can see there's a ton of volume right here. So if we get above this, the short-term long traders are then going to be in the profit. They're going to be on the winning side. Our stop, sorry, moving the mouse so quickly here. Our stop, around one of these pivots would allow us time, and that would probably be a longer-term trade to let it work out until we drop. I do agree that, yeah, it's a great short. Right here, opportunity if we come up there. So
let's
our
put the alert there. Yeah.
yeah, let's put it there again. 9, let's say 4, because that's around the price we would actually enter. Okay. All right. So let's try to look at a symbol we haven't looked at, because we've got the read on all of the different symbols. And like we always say, that tier 2 zone often acts as like molasses for a move. So price flies up, and then all of a sudden it starts getting a problem once it gets to the tier 2 zone. Doesn't mean it's not going to be broken. We're going to hit our stop, but it's not unexpected that once we get to the tier 2, things slow down, right? And all the indexes are following each other. at least
Yeah,
today.
that's why
So
I didn't want to double dip. Exactly. Always keep that in mind. You don't want to trade the same setup or same trade direction on all these indexes, which are often correlated, because then, you might be wrong on all of these if markets move in conjunction.
yeah, and one thing I often do is if I know two symbols are inversely correlated, so when one goes up, um, or sorry, when they're correlated, when one goes up, the other goes up. Why I like to use micro contracts is sometimes if I think the trade might go against me, I'll actually hedge it a little bit. So let's say I'm short 10 contracts on NQ, like we were here. But I see MES looks a little bit more bullish because it's set a higher low. Maybe if I'm short 10 contracts on NQ, I'll go long 3 contracts on ES. Just in case things go against me, I can swap over from the NQ trade to the ES long. And it doesn't cut out of my profits because they're both correlated and I have a smaller position on the long than the short. One symbol here that I thought was really interesting, I just wanted to point it out. So, well, on the Russell, it recovered. Doesn't mean it's not going to hit our stop, but it recovered and then it found a problem breaking the tier 2 zone. What happened on NQ? It recovered and then it found a problem right here when it got into the tier 2 zone. On Dow, it recovered. It didn't see any problem anywhere because there was no tier 2 zone. It moved up way more percentage wise than the other symbols in the recovery, and it only found a problem up at the resistance zone. So, it just shows the importance of liquidity levels and tier 2 zones. Actually, the tier 2 zone acted as a problem for the shorts this morning. It came down, slowed down there, ranged within it, and then blasted off from it. But it didn't slow down at any of these levels because there's just not a lot of people trading there or willing to provide resistance until up at the liquidity level. So I thought that was an interesting observation. Even though they're all following each other, they're moving within different ranges, and those ranges are usually defined by these levels and the tier 2 zones.
Yeah.
So that's the indexes. So let's try to now get a fresh symbol. Um, what do we have? How about bond futures and corn futures? So these are
Actually, Chris in the chat, he was saying something along those lines. Let me quickly see on the Q&A. What do we have here? Yeah, Chris said that Chris said lots of Trump tariff talk today, which may move the markets. All right, so Chris said ZN is setting up the 10-year notes.
oops, ZN. Okay. So let me just 1 second. I'm just moving something. Okay, so on bonds. Let me just talk about these for a second. So bonds are very interesting. They've been super. This is the 5 minute. I don't want that. Let's go to the 15 minute. Super bullish as the indexes started to have trouble. So right now, this morning, as the indexes made that plummet, although they're kind of recovering, bonds are bound to be pretty interesting. So even on the 15 minute, just as we saw in the 5 minute, ZB is at a tier 2 zone. And if the indexes plummet, there's a good chance it's going to lift off from this tier 2 zone. And if they recover, I think it might drop from this zone. So we have a block of seller volume here. I like this one for some sort of a trade, but it does seem to be ranged within our time frame. It hasn't moved as much in a clear pattern as the other symbols. It's kind of got a wide range. I think we're going to ignore this one for now, but I do think, hey, it's been on quite a tear. From all the way down here. When was this? Let me move my zoom. This was on just Wednesday, or sorry, 2 Wednesdays ago. It's just been constantly going up, and maybe it's due for a retracement. And there's a lot of contention at this price level.
Yeah, but that would be a contrarian move. So I'm always, I guess, too much of a chicken to go completely against that strong uptrend to the short side. As a contrarian, I would rather see if price come down to the support level down there. That to me would be, hey, maybe you're gonna see a bounce to the upside, potentially. But yeah, it's to me it's not a clear enough setup. It's against the big overall trend. See how bullish it is.
Yeah,
And the bias on volume IQ is bullish. It's a tier 2 sell zone, yes, but you know, I would probably
yeah,
stay.
avoid it. It's not a
Yeah,
high probability one or clear cut.
yeah.
So, and if the indexes drop, it's going to take off. Okay, so ZN 10-year. Oh, so this is going to look exactly like the bond futures. This is just 10-year note. Yeah, it looks the exact same. I wouldn't be surprised, but there's a magnet zone. It bounced off here, but it is the same fundamental idea. We can see there is a ton of volume on this one and this at this level here, almost a tier 2 zone. This one beats it out though. Again, I don't see a clear setup here for our purposes. Probably a nice long opportunity. I'm using this as kind of a floor or this nearby pivot as a stop. I wouldn't be averse to that because maybe we'll come back up and test this resistance again. What do you think of this one, Daniel?
No, I would stay also away. It's ah, not.
Too rangy.
I like to trade when we are near a level, not in between levels. Because then you have got a clear-cut level. Right now, it's anybody's guess where it's gonna go, up or down. But for a directional trade, I want to be yeah, near rather near level. Let's have a look at what's going on in gold. Are we getting anywhere near our entry level?
No, we're 5 points away.
5 points
Um,
away. All right.
and on
Okay, but
ZN,
still,
oh,
maybe.
and also a thing here, I don't, if somebody can correct me, but just from my own short-term observation, when the indexes plummet, the bonds go up, and when the indexes go up, the bonds go down. At least in the immediate term, it seems to happen, like in a day trading perspective. And if we went long on this, we are actually going to be double dipping because if we go long here, well, we're
Yeah,
short
on the
on the
bonds.
indexes. So if the indexes drop, um, and we go long, well, we're going to make more money because the bonds will probably go up. But if if the indexes go up, well, now we're going to be double losing. So we don't want to double dip in
That's
this.
like going to casino and you're just increasing your bet size. You may
Yeah,
win if
exactly.
you may win more if you bet higher, of course, but that's ideal. That's not what you want to do in trading because everybody can just increase trade sets, but you want to trade uncorrelated symbols to diversify. I think that's the key word here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here on corn, so what's been happening on corn? So this we had a nice breakout from 460. Let me move my zoom so I could see the exact time. At the start of the year, basically, we broke 460, and I think that was the first time it had seen 460 in something like 5 months. And the first time we saw 500, I remember this in the Discord going long right here. This is the first time it had been this high since June, and it really didn't manage to break. And you can see up here, wow, this is rare. We're all the way down here in the volume profile. Look at how low the volume is compared to the amount of traders like me. I went long here, um, that were expecting, oh, this is the big $500 breakout of the year. It hasn't been there in years. Everybody traded that idea. Look, it's the tier two zones all the way up there. So many traders went long there, and maybe even institutions and stuff, and now they're just getting bled out as it drops down. We had a huge downtrend, no retracement, no, nonstop. It hasn't taken a breather, and now we broke another support. So this is actually, to me, a nice short break retrace setup. Although I think it's kind of getting a little oversold here. I mean, when does this symbol move that much? Look at that drop without a recovery. I don't see that anywhere on this chart. Even to the long side, like this might be comparable. Well, here it's definitely comparable. But once that happens, I think it's eventually might be due for a retracement. So although it's a nice short break setup, I wouldn't be surprised if this level ends up holding. But yeah, I think this is also a nice short break retrace setup to try
Yeah.
if we
Yeah.
come up
Put
there.
let's put an alert there too. I agree.
Right here, 473. Whoops. 4736. Okay. And the Russell is kind of having trouble going our way. But it did bounce off the tier two. Nasdaq also bounced off its tier two. So, we were talking about this. We were saying on all these indexes, the spot to short isn't to chase it, it's to get the retrace, or even better, get in short at the tier two. A lot of
Yeah.
the times, what tier two means to me in plain English is this. I mean, retail traders cannot generate this kind of dollar volume generally. So I like to think of tier two zones as where the bigger players in the market are actually doing their entering for their position. So often tier twos will start to form because there's so much volume coming in, and the institutional level traders or funds are planning their next swing trade at that area. They're expecting a move to move away from it pretty violently. And oftentimes what you'll see when it gets broken is, perhaps they weren't satisfied with how many contracts they were able to fill. They'll kind of move the market back up like a fake out. So let's say the tier two breaks down. Well, they actually wanted to go short even more. They want to average in more. So the market will actually get faked out, move back up to it, and then they enter more contracts, and then it really plummets away from it, or flies away from it like it did on the Dow here. But
Yeah.
that's just an observation.
Nicholas, put on just for the fun of it, AFDAX. I know we have a bunch of Germans in the room today. Uh, it's a popular futures contract to trade in Germany. It's a very expensive one. That's the other one. Microdax. Oh,
I'm
Microdax.
on
Perfect.
microdax, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Okay, that's fine. What I saw here on the 5 minutes at least is that we are near a tier two sell zone, and we are approaching support. If you go to the 5 minute broken support, which may act as resistance at this point.
Oh,
So
and
that could
you're on the FDAX. I'm on micro. Let's just sync up. And what was your liquidity IQ? The 30 minute?
5 and 15 as a reference.
5 and
Yeah,
15. Okay.
yeah. So have a quick look there. So this is once this loads, you can see we're getting into this tier two sell zone on FDAX. Um,
Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah.
and we'll if we get further up there, this could be a prime short opportunity. But keep in
Yeah.
mind that this is a very, very expensive contract to trade.
Let's check the micro. I want to see how expensive it is. And also what I noticed on the 15 minute was not
Well,
only is it a tier
we
two on the five, but it's
we can't even trade it with our Interactive Brokers account. We don't have the
oh,
trading permissions for that one. But yeah, it's I guess the micro would be an alternative for this one to trade it.
okay. So we can't trade it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a nice setup. That's like what we were talking about with the reinforced bounces at
Yeah.
the lunch and learn. I want to find now just a fresh chart. The index is Nasdaq. Look at that. So this is actually not bearish now. These settings, these signs here. We'll see what happens. But we're down at a support. We were visually rounding off of it. If I go to the 5 minute, it's going to be even more so. We're rounding off of the support and liquidity captures are coming in. So there's a lot of traders coming in and buying every time it gets near these levels. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we fly off of here. That's usually like it's setting up a launch pad, which affects our trade here, but we'll see what happens. We're still in good status on Russell. Okay, so corn, we have our alert in. Bonds, I'm curious, did bonds start to drop now that the indexes are recovering? Yes, it did. Yes, they did. What's another future that we sometimes look at? Let's take a look here at soybean oil. This is one of the faster moving and more liquid commodity futures I find. Like there's not such choppy candles as you see on the other ones. So on the 15-minute chart here, I've got liquidity IQ to the 30. Yes. On these commodities, I sometimes like to set liquidity IQ to a higher time frame because I find they tend to range more so than the indexes. They don't make as big moves percentage-wise, I find. So it's nice to see longer term levels. So what happened here? Let's just zoom out a little bit. So are we in a long-term uptrend or a long-term downtrend?
And Nicholas, the one symbol that Chris pointed out that we can check out is also live cattle, LE, as a
Okay, sure.
on the futures contract.
So it seems like it's long-term, pretty just rangy, at least relative to the 15-minute chart. And what did we see here? We saw rounding off right here as support was built at 45.50, pretty much exactly 45.50. We bounced up, and now we're hitting this high volume range, which led to this drop down to that support level, which is this tier two zone. So this one's also actually at an interesting point in time. This is held as support quite a bit. So we see every time we bounce down there below 45.50 to low 45s, it bounces up quickly. What happened here though is we dropped down there and it had more trouble than it usually does. So it did like a bear flag where it kind of chilled out here right at this support level 45.20. I actually like this one. We're not going to take it because I don't think it's a perfect setup unless you disagree, Daniel. But this is a nice
For
short
yeah,
entry right here.
I like it too. Yeah,
Want to consider it? Let's
yeah.
take a look at ZL. And I like this one just because of the easy risk management. Look, 46 round number, stop loss right there. Easy stuff.
It's a trade purely based on or mainly based on volume profile, with some other considerations, which is the overall bearish trend that we're seeing. So we're going with the overall bearish trend direction, and in this case, as Nicholas said, very easy to manage. You know exactly where your risk is. That's actually a nice, neat swing high up there too. So
At
easy to
resistance.
manage.
Expensive contract though, pretty expensive. Um,
How much? Wow, it's okay.
do you want to take the short?
Sure.
Okay. And want to go, we'll go in market. We're already at the tier two
No,
or
nah,
limit. You always
always
like to
like
go
that.
limit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, see, that's another difference in personality. I'm allergic to market orders. I think you always get slipped or whatever. So I like limit orders for both my entries and my exits. So yep, at least
cool.
then we're guaranteed the price. And slippage is a real thing with market orders because you just get filled whatever price you're gonna get at this point. With limit orders, of course, as we know, we are guaranteed to be filled at the limit price or better.
Yeah, good point. And here, I'm placing our stop loss. Um, would you? I wouldn't place it above. Would you want to place it above the pivot, Daniel?
I would think so. Yeah, where would you put
Yeah.
it?
Okay. I mean, I was going to be a little bit more chicken and place it right here because at this point, if we get to this level, we're already into the cutout, we're into the tier one zone, and it's probably going to break the pivot. But we do have to give it a chance to test the pivots. That's not all. It's not a science. So I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so our stop loss is right at the
And
pivot.
and it's all relative. So if even though this is a bit more of an expensive contract, but if you want to, you probably should not be scalping futures contract, even on the micro, if even a tight stop loss like this is above your risk tolerance. Maybe that's not the right trading approach, because there's inherent risk with the leverage and everything you get with the futures, even on the micros. So that's fine. That's the cost of doing trading business. Yeah,
Yep.
risk. As long as you're aware of your risk and you accept it, that's what all matters.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like we're probably going to get filled on this one. I think it's worth the trade here. We also this is technically kind of a double zone break retrace that we're getting in on as well because we broke this support. It retraced once, now it's retracing again, and it's getting very volatile here. So traders are kind of or the market is kind of saying, oh, it's an exciting moment because if it breaks this, then it's going to be a bigger recovery. But if it doesn't, all of these buyers here are going to be underwater, and there's a nice cutout here for us to take profit at the end of like right here.
Where are we with live cattle ZE? Can we take a
Oh
quick
yeah,
look?
ZE.
Is it live
Okay,
cattle?
I don't think that's ZE. LE. Sorry,
LE,
I put
sorry, yeah,
ZE.
my
Okay,
my bad. LE.
live cattle futures. Okay. Oh yeah, I have a liquidity IQ on a super long term outlook, which I think is. Oh no, it's only on the 30 minute. Wow, that's a crazy range. Okay, yeah, it's a tier two setup.
Yep,
A
another
lot
tier
of
two.
action zones in this one. Like, look at the very rhythmic
Staggered. Yeah,
move.
yeah,
Yeah.
very rhythmic. Exactly. Spaced almost equally throughout.
Okay, yeah. So this one, what's happening? Is it in a long-term uptrend? And when the price is 195. Oh, we're kind of hitting, we're right at the, wow, we're right here. So this level is an old pivot high from when is that? I can't see with the zoom blocking the bottom of my chart. Back in September, 195. So this is the first time this this month or last month it broke above 195. Now we've dropped down, and that pivot, if we had liquidity IQ to like the daily chart, would probably be showing as a support or resistance that's now being tested as support. So this is a tier two zone. And although it's not visible right now, I see 195. That was that big breakout point, that pivot that hadn't been seen since February, or sorry, September. So this was a massive move and big for the future contract. It really flew off once that old pivot got broken all the way up to almost 210. And now it retraced. So yeah, I wouldn't go short this one here, actually. I'd be scared just because, where's our nearest? We got a level right here. It's kind of rounding off from this support. It is a short setup on the tier two here, and the volume profile is bearish bias, but I would keep in mind that we just made a high for the first time in like 7 or 8, so maybe 6 or 7 months, and now it's just done a retracement. So if we look at a
Yeah.
longer, I would kind of be worried here that this is where people are loading up for the next move up. Um, it hasn't really plummeted. It's come, look at how much trouble it's having breaking every single step down. And now finally it's kind of said, yeah, that's enough. We're coming up. This support is regained. Um, yeah, I'd be scared to go short this, but it is an interesting setup. I'm not totally averse to it. easy risk management with a stop above the nearby pivot. Let's take a look to see if our trade got filled on ZL.
It did. It did. Yeah.
It did? Yeah, let's
Hmm.
check out ZL.
Didn't do much yet, but how small, modest.
Let's take the
Yeah.
profit. No. On M2K, what's happening there?
It's the same. We're stuck in that range near that the former support level. We'll see what's going to happen. I still like the fact that we had this big down move, the fib retracement almost to the dot to the 66, a bit higher, and now the follow through from this. It is, from that technical point of view, we may see another leg down. If we do, we're in great shape for this one. But Nichols is saying, hey, we are rounding off a bit. This is taking a little bit too long for the
Yeah.
follow through. But let's see what happens.
Yeah, and the indexes have been taking a beating recently. Look at this zone break, didn't even retrace. Just straight down 1,000 points almost. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is when they finally get a breather. Longs get some healing
They are
time.
they are due for an update. From that point of view, I think how many down days have we had now in the row? I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I believe all down days. And yeah, can we look at Nvidia just
Wow,
for the
look at
fun
this.
of it, Nicholas?
Sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down days in a row.
6 down days, yeah.
That's a
So
lot. And look on the daily chart. Let me just put this to, and I saw, 1 second.
I wonder if there's any statistics out there. Maybe there's something to consider for our dashboard. Is what's the max duration of down days
We still have
for
some
some
way
of
to.
the indexes? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I thought that was an interesting. I tried making an indicator for that once. I thought it was interesting. It's like you check on a time frame, like let's say the daily, you do some sort of calculations to see how, what are the kind of the average, the median, the mean amount of down, consecutive down or up bars, and then you kind of, make some sort of test some sort of formula to see if it's a way of predicting reversals.
Yeah.
Like here,
Oh,
yeah,
by
but
the way, guys, just a quick side note, since this just reminded me, talking about new products. Our latest version for Liquidity View, our dashboard, has been deployed now of dividends and dividend yields, forward dividends, all this kind of cool stuff. So that's now available on the actual live site.
oh, awesome. The beta went to production.
It did this morning.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, all right, so we got our trades that we know are happening. It looks like the tier 2 is being taken over here. We'll see what happens. Let's look now at NVIDIA. Like you said, you
Just
wanted
for
to
the
see
fun
what's
of it, see
happening.
what's going on. So Nvidia, man, what it is not disappointing, but no move whatsoever. That's not even a gap in the market when we reopened after earnings yesterday. So I guess it just hit to the dot the expectations of Nvidia. Um, so that's what happened yesterday. So no gap up. So gaps happen when we, either exceed expectations or go below expectations. Then we see gaps in markets. This was not the case for Nvidia. So completely flat price action of Nvidia. And yeah, not much to be done here. We stay where we are. We are near a support level on the 50-minute here. But I guess that's yeah. Not much to be done here with Nvidia, at least from a day trading point of view.
Surprise, actually plus 5% surprise on the NVIDIA earnings.
That was, I guess, priced in enough, or maybe not a surprise enough. I guess Nvidia being so overhyped, the surprise
Mhm.
would need to be bigger than 5%.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and it kind of recovered from that drop when DeepSeek
Yeah.
came out. So yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Okay.
hear much about DeepSeek anymore, huh? Was this
No,
just
I
a
think it was
fad?
like a paper tiger type thing, maybe just to get cheap chairs on Nvidia or something. But I saw, like I mentioned to you, Daniel, when people were kind of testing it, that they found out that it was trained on ChatGPT output. Because they would say, "Hey, DeepSeek, what platform are you using?" It says, "Hi, I'm a ChatGPT." So it was kind of copying it.
Yeah.
Okay, Hood. Oh yeah, I wanted to check out what's that stock doing. Robinhood, because this is kind of a stock that's like a day trading stock. Very volatile and it moves a lot percentage wise. And the options professor was talking about this. Actually, he recommended people considering along at the lunch and learn right here. And that's already a 12, 13% move. But yeah, some stocks can be day traded if they're volatile enough. And if, we haven't done that. We used to do that at our live trading sessions is watch stocks. So let me check out to see if anything looked reasonable here on Robinhood. No, there was a tier 2 right down here that actually would have been a nice bounce at 10 a.m. Right down here, which worked out. But one thing you can do for day trading stocks at least is, let me go over to one that we're not using. I think it exists, is in their new, well, actually in their stock screener right here. And I think they have pre-built ones, is extended hours, technicals. I'm not sure what it is. I don't want to waste our time on it, but you can check out the pre-market movers and see which ones are going to be volatile today to consider for some trades. Okay, so let's look now at some symbols we never look at. So let's take futures. I like to put it as Z because I don't usually check the Z futures. What were you going to say, Daniel?
I was just saying, hey, what about silver?
Silver, yeah. Silver. Oh, yeah. Sometimes it
I'm just
decouples
mentioning
from
it.
gold.
Yeah, we are actually in a nice zone break retrace at silver right now. Maybe that could be actually the one.
Oh,
By
yeah.
the way, guys, we have plans for having a screener for TradingView to find these setups instead of just hopping through the charts aimlessly. We can scan for setups that way. So that's something that we may gonna add in the future. So look
One
out for
thing
that.
here that makes this even more interesting, the short break retrace right here, is look at the daily chart of silver. Where is it? Right here. It's at a tier 2 on the daily chart. How rare is that? So this might act as support, this whole range 3170. But if this gets broken, we're probably going to go all the way down to here.
Yeah,
So that's interesting.
let's see what we can do from maybe a limit order a bit in that broken support level with a tight stop above with that swing high there we see.
How about right here?
Yeah, and the
It's
stop
right
was
there.
just about the swing high that you see. Yeah, that one exactly for the
Okay,
stop.
cool. 3221. Alrighty.
What's our risk on that one? It's always good to check because
Oh, it says
oh, it's sufficient. Is this the micro
it's
contract?
probably because we're in a Z. No, it's not the micro contract. Oh no, it is. Yeah, micro silver futures. That's strange. We're only in 2 contracts.
Yeah. It's that's due to our newest account segregation.
Oh, okay. And
The
it's
way we
probably also due to this future, which is super expensive.
the way we are set up now is we have sub accounts in our trading account, allowing us to have separate logins, of course, and trading things differently, including putting money into cash position. I don't know if you knew this, guys, but Interactive Brokers gives you, I believe, 4% at the maximum level of interest on cash positions,
Wow.
which yeah, that's
Uh,
pretty cool. It's definitely better than what you get at the banks. So, but this needs to be set up properly because what I didn't want to do is to have, let's say I want to put some cash to earn interest, but this should not be reflected in my day trading account just for risk management. I have one bad trade. Um, or maybe you set it up the wrong way, you would risk a lot of money. So that way we now have the sub account structure with Interactive Brokers, which gives us much more protection in that way. And that's actually also
Awesome.
the reason why we couldn't trade this morning because there's some legal stuff involved. I didn't check all the boxes.
Perfect. Okay, so that explains it. And here on gold, so what a good look at this. We had a limit order. Well, we couldn't place it, that's right, at that point, but it wouldn't have gotten filled anyways. But we had a limit order 4 cents above this. So if it came right there, we would have got that short. But it's just a testament to how the setups are predictable.
Yeah.
Or at least they tend to follow through. That's why, you see them happen time and time again. So let's check out our trades. This one's kind of doing not much on Dow. I don't have an index open. Let me make sure I have Nasdaq. Nasdaq's failing to hold. One thing on the daily chart here on Nasdaq is, this is rare that this happens. So what I'm talking about is we came down to a support zone and we didn't even go into it. Oftentimes this is like a fake out recovery. It's pretty rare that you come this close to a zone or a level and price doesn't go to the level. So I wouldn't be surprised if it does continue downwards. We've also got a volume cutout right here, which might a tier 1 zone, which might act as more selling pressure down to that level, which is a good thing to hold on to as hope for the short here on Dow. we'll see what happens there. We also have, what was it? Was it ZL? Yes, ZL.
Yeah,
So
sorry,
this was our
headset
other
fell down.
short on ZL. We got our stop loss above the pivot. This is an expensive contract. And the idea here was, and this is I really love this type of setup where I'm always talking about cutouts that will often be a fast drive price fast through them. This is like a textbook. Look at this. Tier 2 zone. This is the ceiling. Then this is almost a tier 2 zone. This is the floor, ceiling, floor. And then, what happens when you drop something from the ceiling? It falls to the floor. So this is a nice cutout here. Not a lot of people buying at this area. And I guess it's because, once we get beneath here, it's usually round numbers again. Look where the tier 2 is down here. Pretty much 45 and a half, 45.50, 45.60. And then this is 46. So I guess once we get above 45.50, shorts are resigned and they're like, we're going to 46. So not a lot of people offer resistance until we come up to another round number.
Yeah, and the reason why Niklas says that's a cutout is because volume is low, and tech oftentimes when volume is low in this area, prices flies through. There's not much resistance or molasses, as we sometimes call it, in that area. This is the exact opposite of a zone of control where volume is high, and this means slow down price moves because lots of trading is happening there. This is the opposite. So if we get actually into that in a cutout zone, we may see price fly through it potentially fairly quickly.
Yeah,
Hopefully, but that's
for
the
sure.
idea at least.
And this move up here to this tier 2 zone, and of course, I'm getting ahead of myself, but it only happened at the market open. So this was super quick. Not a lot of traders bought on this move up. So oftentimes it'll retrace back to that area where people will enter and there'll be more liquidity. So, okay, so that's on ZL. Let's just keep our chart open on our Russell short as well. And let's now look at a symbol we haven't looked at. So let's check out some different ones. So we've checked those out. I'm just interested to see what's happening with zinc, palladium, and copper. No, thank you. Not right now. Zinc on the 15-minute chart. So zinc, why I like to check zinc and palladium and copper is sometimes they don't follow gold and silver. So they can have different interesting setups. So here, short break. What? Oh, that was a support. Okay, the resistance was up here. Short break, tier 2 zone, reinforced short break retrace setup.
And Niklas, oh, this is Apple. Okay, got it. Okay, I was
Oh,
just
this is,
saying,
oh,
hey,
geez. Whoa, I'm on the wrong chart. Yeah, my bad. Oh, I meant to be on zinc futures. I'm on Apple. This is actually not good because I'm long Apple from somewhere down here. So I don't I don't like that setup. Let's check out zinc futures. Whoops, this is Chinese zinc COMEX. That's why it switched us to a different chart. Strange. Am I only looking at the? No, I'm not looking at the interactive. That's strange. Zinc futures. Anyways, let's check out something else. Palladium. Wow, palladium's following copper and gold. This is a super volatile contract. I've never really noticed that. It's also extremely expensive. So on palladium here, wow, look at that. What a profit that would have been if you took that short break retrace. Right here, short break, retrace, short break, retrace, liquidity capture. Traders are not letting it break above the broken support. That's such a nice setup. And it was a tier 2 zone above. Wow, that would have been great. Dropped 100 points all the way down to now below 900. So
yeah.
this might be a nice short break retrace, but to me that looks absolutely oversold. I would be scared to take that short. It hasn't been that low. It's testing long-term support from before, from basically Christmas time.
And
Down
Niklas,
here.
let's have a quick look at M2K because I think I have to make a decision for this one. Because well, I don't want to. Don't want to give back profits. We are once again at the support zone. If we get back to the support zone to the center, maybe we're gonna drop one contract there, at least to lock in some profits that we have a little bit. Because I don't
Sure.
want. Yeah, now
It's
it's of
already
course
I'm already moving away. Yeah.
it's bouncing off. So that's oh boy,
I
it's
would,
okay.
yeah, I'd let it. Let's wait till it gets back down
Let's
there. The
yeah.
Nasdaq isn't recovering either, and I might tend to follow them. Yeah, that's funny
As
that if only a few
as I was
seconds
speaking
earlier.
about, and as you can see, guys, this is sometimes, if you do these live trading workshops, your focus obviously is not 100% on trading. You look at different charts. But as a trader, focus and being able to act quickly when opportunities arise, it's of course it's important. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but yeah. So oftentimes Yeah, good idea, like Daniel said. Like we say, let's say you're long down here. A good spot to take your profit is going to be a resistance level or a tier 2 zone. So this would have been a nice spot to sell if you had bought down here. Similarly, if you're short, a good time, especially if you have multiple. If we only had one contract, I wouldn't take the profit here because I'd be thinking, well, the move we're kind of hoping for hasn't even happened. But if you have multiple contracts, you're scaled in, just be conservative and you're
Yeah,
at a support. There's a chance it'll bounce off it. Place a target for one of your a limit
exactly.
order for one of your scaled out target takes, at the level just to be conservative. So that's what we're doing.
And and guys, one reason why we are so conservative is that we don't want to give a false impression of, you can make thousands of dollars in trading right away. Trading is a game over time, and you want to be conservative. You want to be there for the long haul, not just having one lucky trade because that's more luck. You want to learn how to trade. So that's why we encourage conservative trading. Uh, and with small position sizes, because that's once again is such a big factor in making good trading decisions. Imagine how oftentimes you would panic if you have a huge position size way above your risk tolerance. I guarantee you make rush decisions, you make panic decisions, which are typically not the best ones. So trading small and trading conservatively are, I think, two super important ingredients for any form of trading. And this is
Yeah, it keeps your head clear. And
yeah,
another thing with having small size is when you have big size, not only are you going to panic if you start to lose a bit, but if things start to go your way and you have a big size, like let's say you're in 5 times as much as you should be, and you're up $500 in 5 minutes. Oftentimes, when you have a big size, because you're scared it's going to go against you and you're going to lose that profit, you take your profits too early too. So you screw up your mentality taking losses, and then you take your profits before they even get large. Whereas when you have a small contract, you're not scared. A small position or a proper position, you're not scared. So if it starts to go your way, you're not so terrified that you're going to lose that profit because it's not that much yet. So oftentimes I find when I take smaller contracts or smaller, once I started taking smaller position sizes, actually got bigger percentage-wise wins because you're just
yeah.
willing to let the trade play out more.
Trading small is so important, absolutely. So um yeah, for sure. And of course for us here being live on YouTube and and our reputation on the angle, there's also this risk factor for us. That's why I'm saying, hey, let's trade small, let's book our profits while we see them. But of course that's something that you guys don't have, obviously. But of course we do want to give a good impression. And we trade all the time, and when you're on the Discord, for our own purposes, which are not necessarily on record. We trade differently, so that to us also is, of course, now being live with you guys, an important factor that we need to cater to everyone and showing good trading hygiene, as you may say it, just to be in the trading game for the long run. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what do you think of this limit order here, Daniel?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Let's take one.
Right there. It's right above the resistance and it's also at the 70 test and Nasdaq isn't doing so well right now. So this will carry
It's
us down if it
it's
drops.
taking a bit too long. Would have loved to see a quick retracement up to the fib level and then a rapid move down. Kind of stuck a little bit at the support level. Of course, support acting as support. That's to be expected to some degree. But sometimes, when you have these zigzag moves of fib levels, um, it is. Oh, you closed it out on market?
I took out one at market, just you were saying it's taking too long. So closed
Yeah.
out one to be conservative. We're only a point away from it. Yeah. So we took our one profit there.
Let's have a quick look at our ZL. I think we might be now in a zone where we actually plummet through that level of low
Oh, cool.
volume,
Sure.
potentially at least. Let's have a quick look there. Now, we came up a bit, but we're back down to that low volume area. So I'm hoping to see that. It's just a little bit too high still.
Yeah, we're
Hopefully,
still
if you
testing
get
the
one
tier
more
two.
time, yeah, exactly, we may see this plummet. And I'm still in good shape for this one as well.
Yeah, and I'd put a target right here.
Yeah,
And the
and let me
reason
ask. Yeah, so sorry. Go ahead, Nicholas.
I was just going to say the reason for that is, we don't have all the time in the world in this session. We're closing
Yeah,
out in like 30 minutes, and this is where the sellers stop and the buyers come in
yeah,
historically.
exactly.
So we want to get out before they step in.
Nicholas, let's do a couple of user questions now that we had from Ron. Can we place the divergence cloud onto the chart? Because this question relates to that indicator, our divergence cloud indicator. And he says, I see the red and greenish volume lines that are slanted on the chart. Was looking for a little explanation as to slanted volume lines. Huh. Wonder what what he means by that.
It's not a volume. Maybe he's speaking about the connecting
Maybe
lines between
maybe
entries and
hide,
exits.
yeah, hide the all the other indicators real quick, guys, just to answer Ron's question here on divergence cloud.
And we
So
had
what?
another question too I can answer at the same time. It
Yeah,
was from Alex, which was asking about when the new features for Volume IQ are coming out that he suggested, and that's going to be it's not coming this week. I think that's probably like a month away or
yeah,
something like
it's
that. We'd have to do them for all platforms and stuff, and we haven't done them yet. But
and for trading view, this may not even be possible, huh? Having an exact starting time.
yeah, well, it definitely won't for Trading View, that's for sure, because
Yeah,
it's not we're not able to look back that many bars. But for NinjaTrader and MotiveWave, that's a bit in the future. Although the new version for NinjaTrader will be sent out tomorrow for everyone on NinjaTrader for the new plots that we showed in
yeah,
Lunch and Learn. Okay, so let's put on the optimized settings and slanted volume lines. Maybe,
yeah.
oh, we might be talking about these, the divergence
Yeah, maybe the
clouds.
clouds. Yeah, I would think so.
So what the divergence clouds are, so these lines here, they're supposed to be clouds. It's the best we could do in TradingView's graphics, is they start plotting. So let's try to find a scenario, like right here. So right on this long entry came in because divergence clouds started showing bullish divergence clouds. And the second divergence cloud is always going over a look back to check for divergence, the divergence look back. And it looks back a certain amount of bars to try and see if it can detect that that divergence it's looking for happened, the volatility momentum divergence. Then once it does see that, it then plots a box like this or a cloud from the bar that it noticed it over the look back to the start of the look back. So this cloud right here actually only started showing right here, and it said, hey, there's a bullish divergence happening over this period. And it decides to go long. And then so long as every bar that there is a divergence, it'll keep drawing that cloud. So here there was bullish divergence all the way up to here. And then finally, when there stops being a bullish divergence, it'll start to take exits. So it took an exit here, exit here, exit here. Similarly here, it went short, drew a cloud, then down here, took a profit, took a profit, took a profit. So I hope that
Yeah,
helps. Let's check out on
yeah. We dipped
ZL.
into that zone of low volume. I was hoping for a rapid move. We'll see what's gonna happen. So that's the expectation there. But let's see. We're still in really good shape.
Yeah, on
And I
M2K,
think
I think we're,
I
sorry,
think
go
for
ahead.
this one, just so what I like to do also is just at some point put my stop loss to break even, so that way we kind of now playing with house money, and whatever happens, you're in good shape. So that's something that's more like a psychological thing than a trading aspect, because oftentimes when you put your stop loss to break even, it's not really at a technical level, but from a psychological point of view, at least you're kind of safe in that way.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. So that's that. ZL. We're gonna wait and see what happens. You can see it's still fighting for. It's still in the tier 2 zone, so
Yeah.
it's not really confirmed in our direction yet. But so far, it's going well. Okay.
Are there any questions, guys? If you have any questions, so we're nearing the end of our workshop. We're 1.5 hours in. So we answered Alex's questions and Ron's questions, which is good. All right. If you guys have any questions, please ask them now. I just want to see if we have anything in the chat. Where are you guys? Side question. Do you just reference time frame and trend radar as you do in Liquidity IQ? Sometimes we do it just to give a bit of a longer read of the trend radar levels. So yeah, that's sometimes what we do, especially on TradingView where it's so easy. But I think Chris, you are on NinjaTrader, huh, where it's not as easy to do. But yeah, it can be a good technique to see a bit of a longer term. Yeah, get a longer term view of what's going on with the short term, medium, and long term trends.
Perfect. Okay. So the indexes are still holding. I think this is going to be a long, drawn out thing.
Yeah.
M2K is about to get stopped out. I think we moved the stop down.
And
So,
somebody wants to know if you have Liquidity IQ, can I add on the other indicators? Yeah, just send me a note. well, of course, Volume IQ being the perfect companion for Liquidity IQ. You can see it here, how much we use it actually in our own trading. So, yeah, I'm glad we closed at this one position of that support level. I didn't like the fact that we bounced off so much from the support. But let's just let this one play out, Nicholas. I
I
think we're
moved our
still.
stop down. Do you think that was a good idea?
I'd keep it up, keep it above that. Where we
Yeah.
would place it, it's just such a small size. From
We
a
initially,
technical
yeah.
point of view, we are still getting into this tier 2 sell zone, so we may see another attempt at it before price plummet. I'll just keep it there.
Cool. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna get rid of these fib lines, although we did see right there that hey, it came right up to the fib line and then found some resistance. Interesting. I never use fib retracements, but they always seem to actually be useful.
Yeah, it's some people say that fib is the only. I don't agree with that. The only forecasting indicator, because you can actually forecast where things may go in the future based on these fib levels. Say, we have a big drop. We're going to see a retracement to this level in the future. So 66 or 61.8 retracement or whatever it is. So that's yeah, this is what some people say. For us, it's just another tool that we use in our trading. It's not the primary tool. All primary tools are support and resistance as per Liquidity IQ, and of course our volume profile, which gives you this reads of where the volume is, where the action is right now in the markets.
Yeah, and on Nasdaq. So this is interesting. So on Nasdaq, it's not getting the break anyone would have liked if you're short. However, there's also been no zone break signal because we haven't clearly broken the level. So we often get questions, when is it a zone break? When's it not? It's a zone break when none of the candle isn't even touching the level. So all of these candles overlap with the level. It's not a break yet. Instead, what's happening here is a bunch of liquidity captures. So there's a bunch of trading volume and contention here. And oftentimes liquidity captures at a level, a bunch of them end up rounding off into a bounce. But we'll see what happens. It's still being fought for. And ZL, still kind of in our way, hasn't really gone our way yet. Still fighting for this tier 2 zone.
Yeah, it's still valid. All right. In any case, guys, I think we're going to close out this workshop. Things are slowed down a little bit. I don't see many questions coming in. Let me just check one more time. Side question. We did this one for Chris for Trend Radar. So yeah, guys, we're probably going to keep these trades open. We're going to keep an eye on these ones in our offline time here, but you can see where we placed our stops and targets for these ones. So I think the setups are still valid for both of them. So we're going to keep an eye on that, and perhaps in the next Lunch and Learn, we're going to revisit what happened here in the workshop. Great.
Perfect.
Perfect. All right, guys, that's it from our end. Have a great trading day. Trade safe. Don't overtrade. Trade small, and follow the technical levels. Thanks, Nicholas, so much for your great demonstration and trading. And that's it, guys. I see you all on, when is it? On Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern time for our live scanning session for the next swing trading setups ahead. And by the way, the new version of Liquidity View or dashboard is online. So check it out, guys. It's on the production side of all your watch lists or whatever you had there. So check it out with dividend yields, the dividend X dates, forward dividends, and also an info box about the stock or symbol that you're interested in. So you can see it all straight in the dashboard right now.
Cool. Okay. Thanks, Daniel.
Right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. And by the way, one last thing, the recording will be on YouTube in about 2 hours. All right, guys. Bye-bye.